Hey guys, I'm Matt. Welcome back to RR Aquariums. Today I wanted to talk about buying used tanks and just some of the things that I try and look for and some of the things that I try to be aware of when I'm doing this. So first off, generally when I buy used tanks, I buy them from Craigslist, or I've bought actually a few tanks just by stopping at yard sales where I see them. And those are both good ways of doing it, I think. But one of the big things that you need to pay attention to when you're buying a tank, especially off of Craigslist, is safety. And I know it seems like common sense to a lot of people, but other people just don't buy a lot of things off Craigslist. So there's a few rules that I like to keep in place, or things that I like to keep in mind. Number one is, if you're buying a small tank, like a little 6-gallon or 10-gallon or whatever, if it's possible, try and meet in a public place, grocery store parking lot. Just somewhere public where there's going to be people around, and because that really is safest. If you have to go to a house, which I have had to go to a lot of different houses for things like coral frags or bigger tanks, if you have to go, bring people with you if you can. I always bring a couple of my family members with me, my brother, my dad, or sometimes just my two brothers, but always at least try and bring someone with you, or at least let someone know exactly where you're going and how long you intend to be there, and what you intend to be doing while you're there, just for safety reasons. I mean, I've had people, actually not that long ago, I think about a month ago, I went to look at a 75-gallon tank, and the guy, I got there, didn't like what I saw, so I told him I was going to pass on it, and he just freaked out. I mean, totally flipped out on me. So I was glad that I had my brother and my dad there with me, and that that pretty much assured that if someone did freak out on me or something like that, that I have someone there that can back me up. The other thing is, again, you're not going to be able to go to a public place with tanks like that. They're just too big. People aren't going to want to take them out of their houses or anything like that. So it's just something to keep in mind. If you have to go to someone's house, definitely be aware of where you're going. Let people know where you're going, and bring people with you if you can. So that's that part of it. Other part of it is knowing what to look for on a used tank. Used tanks are one of the more difficult things to buy because you're never quite sure what kind of condition it's in. Obviously, the best way you could know if it's in good condition is to go there and see it set up and running and know that everything's running on it. But a lot of times people already have their tanks broken down and whatnot, so you kind of gotta just be able to look at it and see, kind of just by the way things are looking, how good, or if you think it's going to run. So a big thing on used tanks generally that I found that goes is the seals on the sides of the tanks, where it's sealed with silicone. And to me, that's a fairly easy fix depending on the type of tank, because you can just go to the hardware store, pick up some 100% clear silicone, and just re-silicone. And I generally do that on all my used tanks anyways, just because you never know, on the ride back, if something gets bent funny or whatnot, it could still leak. And trust me, you don't want a tank leaking. I had a 20-gallon leak, and it only leaked halfway, so that's like 10 gallons out, and it just covered the whole basement floor. It was a mess. So I can't imagine on a bigger tank than that what it would do. So always, if you can, reseal a tank when you get it. If you can't reseal it, take it outside, fill it up with a garden hose or whatever. Let it sit for a couple days to make sure that it can hold water, and then empty it out, and then bring it in your house and do that. So that's a good thing. The other thing that generally goes on used tanks is filters and lights, and also heaters. I'll buy a heater, or I shouldn't say I'll buy a heater. I'll buy a used tank. A lot of times they come with heaters, but generally I won't rely on that heater to heat the tank. I'll use that heater on something like heating up mixed up water before I do water changes, or I'll try and resell the heater or something like that, or just keep it as an extra in case the other one goes out, because I don't trust to use heaters. Always buy a new heater. And the same thing with the lights. On lights, they're fairly easy to check if they work. You can just have the person plug them in when you get there to see that they're working. One thing you're going to want to do, unless they give you brand new light bulbs, is probably change out the light bulbs, since you have no way of knowing how long or how good they are. So change out light bulbs. That's always a good thing. And again, if they plug it in and it doesn't work, it may not be the light fixture. It may just be the light bulbs. So if they have extra light bulbs, check it out. Let me see what else. stands a lot of times. A lot of times people use store-bought stands, and I'm against most store-bought stands because, especially like the ones that come with, tank kits at Petco or PetSmart, they are so not meant to hold the weight of the tank. I mean, I purchased a 60-gallon kit because it was on sale for a really good price, and the stand it came with was pretty chintzy, and I put the tank on a new stand that I built because I could already tell from just looking at it that it wasn't going to hold it. So what I did with the stand was actually I put a little 20-gallon on it, and after a month of that little 20-gallon being on there, it had already started to, bow in the center just from the 20-gallon weight. So I can't imagine what would happen if you tried to put a 60-gallon on it. So be careful of stands. If they're, you can tell they're store-bought, just be careful of setting that up. And if you do get a store-bought one and you have to use it, you can always beef it up. There's stuff online about how to do that. It's not too difficult to beef up a stand, and I've done that on several ones. So, but the main thing you're going to want to do when you're going and looking at used tanks, people's houses, or buying frags, or buying anything used, is just be safe, be aware of where you're going, let people know that you're going there, and definitely bring someone with you if you can. Other than that, there's not too much more to it. And the more used tanks you buy, or the more used stuff you buy, you kind of get an idea of what good stuff looks like used and what bad stuff looks like. So it's not too difficult after you've done it for a while. But that's just some things to keep in mind. Hope this video helps. Subscribe and comment, and I'll help out in any way I can if you have any questions about this or any of my other videos. So, anyways, I can also be found on Tropical Fish Forums. Same name on there, R Aquariums. So come join that. Check me out on there, or just check out the site. It's a great site for finding out saltwater or freshwater stuff. Anyways, hope you guys have a good day, and that's it for this one.